These are the remains of the old port or quay of Lag Hall. This lies on the west side of the River Nith, near Dumfries. It once served the estate of Lag Hall and its hinterland. Later the estate was renamed as Mavis Bank, and more recently that's been changed back to Lag Hall. Dumfries was the main port, but not all ships could reach it because of the lack of depth in the river. There were smaller quays dotted along the river itself, mostly on the east side. There was one at Castle Dykes, another one at Kingholm Quay, just across from Lag Hall. Further down there was one at Kelton, and one still survives at Glen Capel. There's even one as far down as Cast Thorn, and the estate of Kirkconnell had its own little jetty. Lag Hall seems to be almost forgotten. It was first recorded around 1694. That time probably the ships would pull up on the shingle and mud banks. By 1825, though, a proper quay had been built with 2 berths. It was capable of taking up to 2 ships of 60 tons, probably importing coal, timber, and maybe some fancy goods for the estate. It's possible that passengers were carried from here. Certainly, we know that Robert Burns was an exciseman or gauger in this area. He may well have visited Lag Hall Quay to inspect the goods that were being imported. In addition, he was a friend of Colonel de Peyster, who owned what was then known as the Mavis Bank estate, and he would have been a frequent visitor as a friend there as well. Colonel de Peyster was also the commandant or the commanding officer of the Dumfries Volunteers, of which Burns was a member. Set into the quay are 2 granite bollards which were used for mooring ships. Slightly further upstream, there's a cannon inserted in the old mud and shingle bank. It's said these were made locally here for the Crimean War. Any faulty ones were put to other uses. The name itself of Lag may be from a word that means a place where ships are pulled up. In Burns's day, there was an island, quite a substantial one, further upstream, now completely vanished. This went by the strange name of Poussons. This may be a connection with the French ships that would call, particularly at Kingholm Quay. Lag Hall Quay has been almost completely forgotten. However, the Glen Capel Quay, which lies further down the river on the east side, was active commercially well into the 20th century. Originally, it was built as a substitute for the port of Dumfries for large boats that couldn't make their way up the river. There were horses and carts with carriers who had to take the goods that had been unloaded and take them up to Dumfries. Glen Capel even had a shipyard. It lay on the southern side of the quay. 1 or 2 boats a year were launched here.